Hello everyone. And welcome to live stream. I guess I'm online now, although not quite sure yet. Yes, I'm online. So once again, hello everyone. I welcome you all, and today's main topic is, of course, crisis of Nagorno-Karabakh and situation in South Caucasus region in general. I did see many times comments of members of our community to devote some more time to this topic, and well, there we are. Entire live stream basically will be mainly about South Caucasus region. First of all, I will share with you main news for this moment, which is that for 1 o'clock, for 1300 hour today, Azerbaijan and Nagorno-Karabakh authorities did reach agreement about ceasefire. And for this moment, there should be no hostilities between the sides, but we are talking about conflict areas, so anything is possible. And by the way, I did prepare several news, and if I may, I will share with you this topics, and then I will go through questions if there will be some. I remind you that under this video in the description box you can see a link to donation alerts, and of course if there will be any question in donation alerts, I will react as soon as I see it immediately. Basically, so this is RIA Novosti's report about agreement between the sides that was reached today, so that from 1 o'clock, middle of the day, Moscow time, there's supposed to be no hostilities no more, which means, by the way, if we take in account statements from Azerbaijani side that Armenian forces in Nagorno-Karabakh probably did agree to lay down arms, because that was one of the main demands from Baku, capital of Azerbaijan. And right now, as we speak, in Armenian capital, in Yerevan, people are gathering next to government office, and this is it, by the way. RIA Novosti is reporting that people are beginning to gather next to government offices. Some streets already have been closed by citizens or residents of Yerevan, and I guess guests of the Armenian capital. They are protesting that Armenian government basically sold out Nagorno-Karabakh, and it's hard to argue with that. Armenia, as I mentioned in the first update, Armenia has a huge diaspora in several countries worldwide, in many countries, but when it comes to, for example, US, France and Russia, here in these countries, Armenian society has a truly big and quite influential diaspora. And as I was monitoring statements from leaders of opinion when it comes to diaspora in Russia, Armenian diaspora in Russia, we can definitely say that people are very upset by actions of current leadership of Armenia. For example, Margarita Simonyan, many of you, I guess, are familiar with this person. She is head of Russia Today media holding, and she is very critical of Pashinyan and his government. She is basically calling them traitors. And I guess citizens of Armenia that are now gathering in central part of Yerevan, right next to government buildings, they are also sharing same opinion that current leadership of Armenia did sold out basically interests of Armenian people and Nagorno-Karabakh. But well, at least there is no fight for this moment, and people supposed to be safe. People supposed to be safe. Although, by the way, just a few minutes ago, I did share this footage on my Telegram page. Refugees are gathering in Nagorno-Karabakh. Refugees are gathering in area of airport in Stepanakert. Stepanakert is the capital of Nagorno-Karabakh, and they are waiting for solutions. They are waiting for opportunity to peacefully and safely flee Nagorno-Karabakh. I did said, by the way, in mornings in today's update that most likely Armenians will be forced to flee Nagorno-Karabakh. Some may remain, but majority, I'm afraid, will be forced to flee Nagorno-Karabakh because of safety issues. And also, by the way, as you can see here, this is Yerevan. Armenian police and special forces are mobilized to protect government buildings from angry citizens of Armenia. Also, by the way, we have a report, RIA Novosti's report, that Russian Defense Ministry did make statement that a peace agreement between the sides, between Azerbaijan and the authorities of Nagorno-Karabakh, was achieved with active involvement of Russian side, with active involvement of Russian peacekeepers. And when it comes to Russian peacekeepers, by the way, on my Telegram, I also did share, probably you did see this information, that this is it, by the way. You can see refugees are gathering in Russian base, in base of Russian peacekeepers that are deployed in Nagorno-Karabakh, in zone of conflict since 2020. According to latest data that I see, more than 2,000 refugees right now are in territory of Russian military base, on the base of Russian peacekeepers. Also, by the way, we have a statement. RT is reporting that Kremlin press spokesman of Russian President Dmitry Peskov did made some comments about developments in Nagorno-Karabakh, and Peskov said that Azerbaijan is acting on its own territory when it comes to entire situation. And let me read several sentences. So, Kremlin considers the escalation of the violence in Nagorno-Karabakh as a military action that Azerbaijan conducts within its own territory. Spokesman of Russian President Dmitry Peskov has said. The remark came on Wednesday in response to complaints from Armenia that Russian peacekeepers deployed in the region were not doing their job properly. Well, during the previous days, Russian side, high-ranking Russian officials, by the way, including President Putin. Let me check here. No questions, no comments, so I'll continue. By the way, I cannot see right now chat, but at some point I will of course react on chat. I see what you see, by the way, on monitor. And as I mentioned during the previous days, even weeks, since escalation began between Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh, and Armenia and between Azerbaijan and Nagorno-Karabakh and Armenia, that high-ranking Russian officials many times stated, including President of Russia Vladimir Putin, that basically government of Armenia never recognized independence of Nagorno-Karabakh Republic that was claiming independence for last several decades, independence from Azerbaijan. And not just that, but Armenia never declared Nagorno-Karabakh as a part of Armenia. So when it comes to agreements or treaties between Russia and Armenia, especially a treaty of mutual defense, Russia is unable, from legal point of view, to act any differently other than to participate in peaceful talks, because formally Armenia was not attacked by Azerbaijan. Azerbaijani forces are conducting military operations on their own soil, even according to Armenia's official position. And all these complaints from Yerevan, from Pashinyan, from his government, basically is attempt to push this anti-Russian narrative and blame for everything Russia. And people, citizens of Armenia that are not really into documents, into agreements, into details and nuance, they may believe that Russia did not defend Armenia when Armenia was not attacked. But yet again, as I said many times before, Pashinyan is an asset of Western so-called elites, Washington basically, and he is acting on behalf of his Western masters, like his government does. And that's why I'm quite sure in foreseeable future, if Pashinyan will remain in power, we will probably see activization of this narrative that Russia is enemy of Armenia, or Russia cannot, Armenia should not depend on Russia, US is ally, EU is ally, and eventually, of course, Yerevan will begin demanding Russian military base to be withdrawn from Armenia. It's just logical. I was writing about it from very first day when Pashinyan became prime minister, basically, of Armenia. And by the way, as I mentioned in the morning, we already have statements from Armenian officials when they are asking for help and support. US, EU, and so on, countries that are basically trying maximum as best they can to somehow divert Armenia from its cooperation from Russia with Russia to other way towards NATO and the EU. And in my understanding, this road that Armenian government is choosing right now and has chosen since the beginning, well, this road is will not end well for this republic, but yet again, only time will tell. Now let me check donation alerts. Nothing here. And by the way, now I will check chat. Interesting how many of us, 80 or 95 of us in the online. Once again, thank you very much for your attention. I will now try to read some comments and questions if I see. So Rampleness 01 is asking, why can't Azerbaijan let them stay and live there even though they take the place of themselves? Well, when it comes to this is very serious topic, by the way. Basically, Azerbaijani government is saying that officially, at least, they are guaranteeing security of Armenians in Karabakh, but point is, can Armenians trust? There is huge mistrust between the sides. Sides are not really trusting each other, and because of decades of war, I can understand why residents of Stepanakert, for example, or other settlements in Nagorno-Karabakh are trying to flee region, because they don't want to live under rule of Baku. First of all, because they don't trust Baku and the government of Azerbaijan. War between sides were very brutal, by the way, unbelievably brutal, and well, many people probably do afraid that some retaliatory strikes can take place, even if they have nothing to do with the conflict. But they have many reasons to don't trust each other. And by the way, I did see comments during the day about dear friends, I cannot read Chinese or hieroglyphs. Member of our community is asking, are Caucasus wars always this quick? Azerbaijan is already finished reuniting with Karabakh in less than 24 hours. Well, it depends from which side you will look. Conflict in Nagorno-Karabakh, let's say, did began some 30 years ago with collapse of Soviet Union. So it's hardly possible to say that this conflict was or is quick. Some operations, yes, and in this particular case, yes, Azerbaijani's operations did achieve some success in fairly short time, but this region was devastated by conflicts for decades and decades. Not just Armenia and Azerbaijan, but also Georgia, because Georgia also had a conflict with South Ossetia and Abkhazia. So region is truly devastated by these conflicts, and one may hope that in the future there will be no more these ethnic conflicts or civil wars between the sides, but only time will tell. And I was thinking to explain situation in South Caucasus in this update, because today and quite a few times before I did see comments in comment sections about need to explain situation in general, because not everyone was closely watching situation or developments in South Caucasus region. And well, and also question, Levan, when will Azerbaijan and Turkey do the long-awaited annexation of Armenia? Can Turkey and Azeri armies go for double envelopment? Will Russia do anything to stop it? What is Iran's role? Well, very interesting questions. I don't think Azerbaijan or Armenia will dare to strike Armenia itself, at least before there is a treaty in the place between Russia and Armenia, and before Armenia is a part of ODKB. As I said earlier, Azerbaijan did not enter Armenia's territory. This conflict is taking place on Azerbaijani soil. And that's why Russia, from legal point of view, from legal standpoint, cannot intervene other than try to bring sides to the peace negotiations, what Russia successfully does time after time. But when it comes to Armenia itself, as I said, as long as Armenia has a mutual defense treaty with Russia, I don't think any country will dare to attack Armenia. Turkey, Azerbaijan, no matter, no country will dare to attack. But if this treaty will break down, if Armenia will leave ODKB is a military alliance of several former Soviet republics, and Azerbaijan is a part of, not Azerbaijan, but Armenia is part of this organization. And until Armenia is remaining in ODKB, there is no country that will attack it. But if they will decide, if Yerevan will decide to leave this organization and basically fully destroyed relationships with Russia and eventually forced Russian military base out of Armenia, then who knows, anything is possible. Geography of Armenia is very difficult. From one side it's Azerbaijan, from two sides, by the way, basically it's Azerbaijan. Let me take a look at the map. So on donation alerts, nothing. That's quite unfortunate, but anyway, let's continue. So this is map, by the way, of South Caucasus region. This is Nagorno-Karabakh area here, and surrounding 7 regions, as I mentioned in the first update, was previously occupied by Armenian forces until 2020. But in 2020, Azerbaijan conducted successful large-scale military operations and regained control not just over these 7 regions, but also at least half of Nagorno-Karabakh become under control of Baku. And right now, if we take a look at the map, this small part here is controlled by local authorities still in Nagorno-Karabakh. Artsakh, by the way, Armenians call this region Artsakh. And the rest of the territory is controlled by Azerbaijani forces. But according to this ceasefire, I guess Armenian side in Nagorno-Karabakh did agree to lay down arms and dismiss itself. And now it's only a matter of time when Azerbaijan probably will establish full control over entire region. And this is Armenia here. And if you take a look, Azerbaijan also has territories on the border with Iran and Turkey. This territory called Nakhichevan Autonomous Republic. And well, situation is very difficult because there are some rumors that Azerbaijan may try, because it's in a winning stream, Azerbaijan may try now to establish corridor between Azerbaijan and Nakhichevan, to establish basically a land bridge with the Autonomous Republic. And in that case, Armenia may end up being cut off from border with Iran. And Iran is very disturbed by this possibility. And that's why possibly this is one of the reasons why in previous several days, even weeks, Iran was deploying additional military units in its northern borders, in its northern western borders. Some say this was done to combat Kurdish separatist movement in this region, but possibly that was a cover-up to reinforce Iran's forces on the border with Armenia and Azerbaijan, because well, relationships, even though in Iran there is a very big diaspora of Azerbaijanis, ethnic Azerbaijanis, even in the leadership, by the way, in political and religious leadership of Iran, relationships between Iran and Azerbaijan are quite difficult. And this is despite the fact that both Iran and Azerbaijan are Shiites, and well, Iran is not happy with the current leadership of Azerbaijan, but Turkey is. Turkey is a strategic partner, and Turkey did play a crucial role in successful military operations of Azerbaijan in 2020, and I guess Turkey was somewhat involved in planning of current operation, also Turkey's militaries. And well, very difficult situation. If Azerbaijan will try to establish land bridge with Nakhichevan, I guess Iran may try to get involved in this situation. But it all depends. I mean, this is a big geopolitical game, and do Iran needs to become a part of this struggle for this region between big geopolitical players. That's a question, but Iran is also not happy, or not supposed to be happy with current leadership of Armenia, because it's obvious that Armenia under Pashinyan is moving towards NATO, moving towards US, and it's quite possible that if Pashinyan will remain in power, Russian militaries eventually will be forced to withdraw for Armenia, and their place will be taken by NATO militaries. To be more precise, by US or British militaries, or both. And I don't think Iran is very keen to see NATO bases right next to its doorstep in Armenia. And so, situation in South Caucasus region truly dramatic. Nothing has finished yet. This is just the beginning, by the way, for a struggle for this region. And I'm afraid yet again, if Pashinyan and his government will hold on to power, I'm afraid US will use Armenia not just against Russia, but also against Georgia. To destabilize Georgia, because we all know just a few days ago, for example, Georgia's Georgia's security services did make a statement that certain powers inside Georgia and outside of Georgia, including in Ukraine, by the way, are planning to destabilize republic and to conduct regime change. And US, which is behind all this plan, although Georgian government did not say nothing about US, but we all understand that it's US that stands behind all this plan, because they are not happy with current government of Georgia. To achieve destabilization of Georgia and regime change, I would not be surprised if Washington will use Armenia against Georgia. And by the way, here in Georgia there is Samtskhe-Javakheti region. You can see here Akhalkalaki city, for example. And in Samtskhe-Javakheti, in this region of Georgia, majority of population is ethnic Armenian. And periodically there were some instances of attempts to conduct some or to begin some separatist movements in Samtskhe-Javakheti, but this movement was suppressed, not just by Georgia, but mainly by Armenia, because Armenia don't want to, at least before, did not want to destroy relationships with Georgia because of geography. Because just look at this, man. From one side it's Turkey, from other side Azerbaijan and Iran. With Iran, Armenia has quite good relationships, by the way, used to have at least. Situation is changing right now because of current leadership of Armenia, but still Iran is quite friendly towards Armenia. But when it comes to Western route, communication of Armenia with the Western world or Russia, for example, there is Georgia. Only way to do so is through Georgia. And that was previously quite objective reason why Yerevan would not accelerate some separatist movements in Samtskhe-Javakheti region. But now with current regime in Yerevan, with this Pashinyan and his government, nothing can be excluded. Just nothing. And US definitely can use some extremists in Armenia to destabilize situation in Samtskhe-Javakheti also. I'm afraid this is highly likely to happen. So let me check. Nothing on donation alerts. Is donation alerts even working, by the way? I don't know. I have to check though. But well, I forget a line of thinking. So yes, situation is very, very dramatic, one may say. Let me see chat for a second. Так, questions. Is there any chance? Pauline Long is asking, there is any chance these states could become a federation? By the way, many decades ago, even centuries ago now, there was an attempt to create federation between Georgia, Azerbaijan and Armenia, but then Soviet Union happened. And this idea was somewhat forgotten. And currently, if we take in account many difficulties in relationship between the sides, I don't think topic of federation can be relevant for time being, at least for time being. No one knows what holds future for this region, but right now I don't think so. And hey Yerevan, I just realized something. Georgia is not a member of CSTO. Yes, Georgia is not member of CSTO, by the way. And Ajaria is Turkish land. Ajaria is not Turkish land, by the way. Ajaria is Georgia. You are mistaken. You are mistaken, my friend. Ajaria is historic Georgia. Not just Ajaria, but northern part of northern west and part of Turkey is also populated by ethnic Georgians. Let me show you on the map. This is also, by the way, interesting topic, that without Russia, now we are clearly seeing that Western so-called elites are trying to distance Armenia from Russia, like they did with Georgia some 20-25 years ago. And well, Georgia did not end up in a great position because of it, isn't it? And now they are trying to do very same with Armenia. But if we take a look on history, by the way, Armenia as a state would not exist if not Russia. Like Georgia would not exist as a state if not Russia. Russian Empire at the time, some 200 years ago, a little more, it was Russian Empire that fought war against Ottoman Empire to regain control over the territories that are now called, to save basically territories that now are called Armenia and Georgia, including Ajaria, by the way. Ajaria was liberated by forces of Russian Empire, and Samtskhe Javakheti also. I did spoke about Samtskhe Javakheti. This is a part of Georgia also. And unfortunately, so-called elites in current, at least, elites in Armenia did forget this lesson of history, that they exist only because Russia's involvement, and Russia fought with the Ottoman Empire and lost thousands and thousands of lives to protect Armenians and to save, to give Armenians a chance to have a state that they have right now. And by the way, Georgia, when it comes to Georgia also, by the way, I'm quite sure if Russia did not intervene, then Turkey will assimilate Georgia, absolutely, and current Georgia would be part of Turkey. And if you take a look in the northern western part of modern Turkey, There are quite a big ethnic Georgians are living in that area, and those ethnic Georgians are totally assimilated by Turkey, and you may find Turkish extremists, Turkish nationalists in these areas quite often. And by the way, current president of Turkey, Erdogan, is ethnic Georgian himself. You may did not know it, but current leader of Turkey, quite a nationalist, isn't it? He's ethnic Georgian. He is a Turkish nationalist, and he said, at least on one occasion, if I'm not mistaken, that Batumi, capital of Ajaria, Autonomous Republic of Ajaria, is Turkey. So that's why I'm saying, though, Russia did play a crucial role to save Armenia, to save Georgia, to save these unique cultures, by the way, to save these unique ethnic groups. And it's sad to watch that Armenia is now basically destroying everything that this state was built on. And very same was done by former Georgian leadership. I would not say nothing about current one, because current ones are trying to do their best to save Georgia, and they are trying to make sure that they have more or less working relationships with Russia. As I said quite a few times before, this is the first time, by the way, first decade since the collapse of Soviet Union, when Georgia did not have a conflict, did not have military conflict. And this happened thanks to current government of Georgia. You may like it or hate it, but this is thanks to current Georgian government, this ruling party of Georgian dream. So, you know, questions, let's see here. Nothing. So hopefully I did share quite enough information about South Caucasus, about situation there, and I will happily answer to questions. Oh, Eric Enamorado says, Levan, you are the best. Thank you very much. I am trying to be good presenter. I'm trying to be as informative as I possibly can. And by the way, please keep in mind that years of active journalism I spent as a writer journalist. I never worked in TV or in radio, so all this stuff, work with camera and so on, is new to me, and I have to learn. And this stream, by the way, is also process of learning. How many ethnic groups are there in Georgia? Oh, Georgia is very diverse, by the way. Georgia is beginning. Roots of Georgia are going like some thousands of years, and very diverse community. Of course, majority are ethnic Georgians, but also Greeks, by the way, also Armenians, Ossetians. I'm ethnic Georgian Ossetian from mixed family. Azerbaijanis, by the way. During the Soviet era, there were many Russians, thousands, tens of thousands of Russians, if not hundreds of thousands. But when Soviet Union collapsed, significant number of Russian-speaking population, including Russians, left Georgia, and Kurds, by the way, have also significant diaspora in Georgia. Jews, by the way, are living in Georgia for at least 1500 years peacefully. They never had any issues in Georgia, as far as I know, and I learned something about Georgia's history it's very diverse. It's very diverse. Many ethnicities, many cultures.
Keep up the great work in getting the truth out. Love from Russia.
Wow, donation does works. Keep up the great work in getting the truth out. Love from Russia. Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much for kind words and donations. It did work, by the way. At some point I was thinking maybe this donation alert is not working or something. So yes, that's when it comes to Georgia. Why are relationships Seymour is asking, are Georgians Asians from Central Asia? Georgia, South Caucasus region, as Georgians are, by the way, from Caucasus region. They are this ethnic group was originated in and formed as an ethnic group in Southern Caucasus region. So they did not, as ethnicity, they did not come from any other place. They thousands and thousands of years ago, when there's movements of tribes were active, some people end up in territory of modern Georgia and they settled there, and eventually this population formed as a ethnicity. It did take, of course, decades, centuries, but eventually Kartveluri, that's the name, Kartveluri ethnic group was formed, or Georgian ethnic groups, and this group is based on several internal lines, like yes, Kartlelebi, yes, there is Georgians, it's Lazi, Swani, Migreli, but all of them are Georgians, ethnically Georgians, and their language are related. Although for me personally, it's difficult to understand Megrel language or Swan language. Very difficult to understand. I may listen to this language and I may understand few words, and that's it really. But these languages, Georgian and Megrel languages, they are part of one language family, and same goes for Swan language. So they are Caucasians. Georgians are Caucasians, but Caucasus region itself, by some geographers, are called as a forward Asia. So if you take that account, that this region is itself forward Asia or part of Asia, then Georgians are Asians. But when it comes to race, if you are asking about race, then Georgians are Indo-Europeans. Georgians are like Russians, like Germans, I don't know, British, they are Indo-Europeans. Like Iranian people, by the way, for example, or Pakistanis and Indians. Entirely, this race is called Indo-European race, and Georgians are part of it, like Ossetians, by the way. So, were all these areas in conflict? By the way, France M is asking, were these areas in conflict during the USSR? Well, not all of them, but for example, in Georgia, conflict between Georgians and Ossetians in South Ossetia did begin during the Soviet Union, and for unfortunately, then leaders of Georgian and Ossetian communities did not manage, or maybe did not even try to avoid this conflict and civil war, which is extremely painful to me personally, because I am ethnically Georgian, Ossetian, and reason why they did start this conflict, formally at least, is that Ossetian has the autonomy during the Soviet Union, and this autonomy was part of Georgian Soviet Republic. And when Georgia made decision to leave Soviet Union, autonomy, South Ossetia said, why you are not asking us? We are autonomy here, we have some rights to say something. On this, Tbilisi react not exactly the right way. They dismiss autonomy, which of course anger leadership of the Ossetian society, and eventually sides end up in this civil war, in this ethnic conflict, and that conflict began during the Soviet Union. And by the way, clashes between Armenians and Azerbaijanis, first clashes did talk during the Soviet Union also, but Soviet Union was collapsing at the time. We are talking about 89, 90, 91 period, when there was no more Soviet Union really. Moscow was probably not in control of anything at that time, or maybe they were trying to deal with some issues. But well, Gorbachev, by the way, this traitor, Gorbachev is a traitor, by the way. He's, you know, Gorbachev, Shevardnadze, all those animals, man, they destroyed, not just destroyed Soviet Union, those traitors, but they did nothing to stop these conflicts when they had opportunity. They just did nothing. And the entire government at the time of Soviet Union, traitors and corrupt criminals that's supposed to, you know. But yes, unfortunately, some conflicts did erupt during this era of collapse, years of collapse of Soviet Union. But when it comes to some other conflicts, for example, in Abkhazia, when the conflict erupted in Abkhazia military phase of conflict, Georgia was already independent republic and recognized by rest of the world. And conflicts were also not just in southern Caucasus region, by the way, but also in Central Asian republics. Up till now, for example, time to time, probably you did hear reports that on the border between Kyrgyzstan and Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan are some clashes, including clashes between militaries, by the way. There are some difficult relationships between Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan also, if I'm not mistaken. So there are some unresolved issues in Central Asia also, and these issues may have their roots in Soviet Union era or their beginnings. I tried John is writing, John Dickinson, that I tried donation alerts, lots of issues, signing up and so on. From Facebook is not working. I guess, yes, I guess donation alert is not really working properly. I don't know. For first day, when, oh, by the way, I did see donation. Baba Yaga did donate. We are seeing news that the conflict has stopped and they are disarming the separatists. Is this being reported in Russia? Yes, of course. Baba Yaga is asking, thank you very much for donation. Yes, of course, and I did in the beginning.
We are seeing news that the conflict has stopped and they are disarming the separatists. Is this being reported in Russia?
In the beginning of stream, I did spoke about this. I did share some reports from Russian news agencies that agreement was reached. between Azerbaijan and Nagorno-Karabakh about ceasefire, and according to statements of Russian Defense Ministry, this agreement was reached with active involvement of Russian peacekeepers. John, thank you very much for informing me. May I have to use some other program other than donation alerts? I will see what can I do about it. Let's see some questions. Hopefully I did share enough information about situation in Nagorno-Karabakh, around this region. And I also I was planning to talk about Georgia too. So Yerevan, what do you think of reconnect between Turkey, Azerbaijan, Iran in some form of Persian Empire? By the way, I don't think Turkey will ever agree to become a part of anything close to Persian Empire. We should always remember that Persians and Ottoman Empire, they were in very difficult relationships historically, not just because of some political reasons, but also because of differences in religion. Both, of course, are both countries are part of world of Islam, but Turkey is a Sunni and Iran is a Shiite. So there are many reasons why they are not really getting along historically very well, although it's unfortunate, of course. But lately Ankara and Tehran do manage to have at least working relationships, which is good, by the way, because these two states definitely are major powers in the region, and if they are in a good working terms with each other, then this is more guarantees for peace in entire region. But when it comes to some kind of unity between Turkey and Iran, no, I don't see it coming. They may be united, somewhat united inside some bigger organization, let's say BRICS. One day Turkey and Iran may become a part of BRICS. That's a different topic. But when it comes to unity between these two countries, that's gonna be hard to achieve. My girlfriend, Chechen, and she tells me that this Caucasus region has always been tense and some turbulent. She thinks it will never be stable because the huge amount of ethnic groups. Well, I would not say, I would not be that skeptical, but Caucasus region always was a difficult region. That's for sure. Caucasus region always was quite difficult, maybe because of big diversity when it comes to ethnicities, but not just in Southern Caucasus region, but also in Northern Caucasus region. But Northern Caucasus is stable, isn't it? Because it's a part of Russia. So I don't see a reason why Southern Caucasus cannot be stable also. And after all, it's a 21st century, by the way. I mean, we should, we as a people should be grown up enough to judge each other by actions, not by ethnicity or religion or color of skin or just any, you know. We should judge each other just by actions. That's it. If you are a good human being, then that's all it takes to have respect and be respected. That's all matters really, to be a good human being. So I'm not that skeptical, by the way, although I can understand skepticism also, but I want to be more optimistic, maybe because I'm from Caucasus region, by the way. But I won't see this region to be in peace. That will be great. So and for example, by the way, when it comes to Georgia, let me check just latest news, maybe some updates. As I mentioned, there was some action, street demonstrations, protests in Yerevan, and well, RIA Novosti right now are not reporting about any changes. And let's see if TASS news agency brings some other information. Or it's, well, we have a statement from Azerbaijan, but by the way, this is happening in real time. So Baku is made a statement that they have a plan to integrate Karabakh into Azerbaijan. This was stated by aide of President of Azerbaijan, Hikmet Gadzhiev. And according to him, state institutions already did prepare a plan of reintegration of this region, not just from economical standpoint, but also from social standpoint. And as I said, by the way, Azerbaijan official in Azerbaijan will, of course, make statements that they will guarantee security of Armenian society in Karabakh. And they already said many times that Armenians will be safe. But point is, will Armenians from Nagorno-Karabakh trust these statements from Baku? That's a question, and difficult question, by the way, difficult question. And as I did share in the beginning of the video, in the beginning of the stream videos from Nagorno-Karabakh, you can see that thousands and thousands of people, refugees, already are gathering in Russian military base. Armenian refugees already are gathering in Russian military base of peacekeepers. Thousands of people are in the area of Stepanakert airport and are waiting for ways to leave Nagorno-Karabakh safely. So I guess vast majority of residents of Nagorno-Karabakh, Armenian residents of Nagorno-Karabakh, already made a decision. So Seymour is commenting that Russian Federation needs to take control of South Caucasus for future peace and make it to their border with Turkey and Iran. By the way, that would be at least I would not say, you know, that Russia should take full control or occupy Southern Caucasus. No, there is no need for this. But to have good working relationships with Georgia, with Armenia, with Azerbaijan, that would be nice. That would be nice. And but to do so, you need just Moscow is not enough. And right now, before our eyes, we are seeing how Western so-called elites are pulling Armenia far from Russia and basically destroying relationships between Russia and Armenia with hands of Pashinyan and his government. And by the way, for example, relationships between Russia and Georgia, even though right now it's working relationships, why these relationships are not in the better state? Because of devastating for Georgia mistakes and crimes basically that was committed by previous Georgian governments, by Shevardnadze, by Saakashvili, and because of those steps that was made by previous governments, current leadership of Georgia did find it extremely difficult to improve significantly relationships with Moscow. And one of the main reasons, of course, is conflict in 2008 between military conflict between Georgia and Russia, after which Russia declared recognized independence of South Ossetia and Abkhazia. But when it comes, by the way, to Georgia itself, I said many times before, not just in my videos, but I was talking about it for years now, man, and I was writing about it whenever I had the opportunity, for decades at this point, that I believe Tbilisi, Tkhinvali is the capital of South Ossetia, by the way, and Sukhumi is the capital of Abkhazia. So Tbilisi, Tkhinvali, and Sukhumi can find a better way to go forward, which is confederation. By the way, I am 100% sure that if Tbilisi will come with such an initiative, Tkhinvali and Sukhumi will listen, and I'm quite sure Moscow would not be against. If Tbilisi, Tkhinvali, and Sukhumi will reach agreement to reunite in confederation with, by the way, and because confederation is a unity of basically independent states, and in confederation any party has a full right to leave confederation. To make sure that this deal will work, I believe sides during the negotiations should agree for a moratorium on leaving confederation for at least 10-15 years, with automatic prolongation on another 10-15 years if all sides are agree. And I'm quite sure if sides will live in peace under umbrella of confederation for next 15 to 30 years, there will be no more issues, by the way. I'm 100% sure if sides just give it a chance to live in peace, in prosperity for at least 15-30 years, and there will be no issues between the sides. So I have high hopes that Tbilisi, Tkhinvali, and Sukhumi will manage to find the right way to go forward, and hopefully Moscow will help with this. And well, in that case, relationships between Georgia and Russia will not just improve, but improve significantly, which will be beneficial for Georgia, for Russia, and will be extremely beneficial for Georgia and that future confederation if it will be built. But when it comes to Armenia, right now it's very difficult to say anything, because current leadership of Armenia is extremely anti-Russian, and basically are controlled by the West. When it comes to Azerbaijan, by the way, Russia has quite good working relationship with Azerbaijan without any unresolved issues, really. So, and also I did see a question. John Dickinson is asking, why do people like Jeffrey Sachs like Gorbachev? Well, because Gorbachev was positioning himself as a kind of liberal, kind of person who does some reforms and so on. But in reality, in my understanding, by the way, I was born in Soviet Union, and I have a full right to have my opinion about that person, about Gorbachev, and I think he's a traitor. And he's supposed to be in jail from very day that Soviet Union collapsed, until his last breath. But unfortunately, he was he was treated in Russia very well, and Like Yeltsin, by the way, also was treated quite well, isn't it? When he was just, I mean, shame, not just for Russia, but for Soviet Union, entire Soviet Union, also because Yeltsin was, by the way, high-ranking official during the Soviet Union. And now you can understand, if you take a look, what kind of individuals were running republics in Soviet era, you can get better understanding why Soviet Union collapsed in such a fast manner. Because of traitors, by the way. CIA and Western elite somehow did manage to put these traitors in their decision-making positions, and eventually they destroyed Soviet Union. That's what happened. It's you know. So once again, I hope today's stream was somewhat informative about Southern Caucasus, about situation in Armenia, Azerbaijan, Karabakh. Also, I did spoke about Georgia. And when it comes to Georgia, by the way, I did spoke about Georgia, of course, already. But once again, I will mention that a few days ago, Georgia's secret services, Georgian security forces, did make statement that some forces inside and outside of Georgia are planning to conduct destabilization of Georgia. And in this statement was mentioned current deputy of Ukraine's military intelligence, Georgy Lorkipanidze, and also former leader of Georgian Legion that is fighting on the side of Ukro-Nazis, Mamuka Mamulashvili. So these people were mentioned by Georgia's security services, and because Georgian Legion is acting under umbrella of Ukraine's military intelligence, and you all are familiar with head of that structure, it's Budanov, terrorist and mass murderer. Statements of Georgian security services should be taken extremely seriously, because yet again, current deputy of Budanov, Georgy Lorkipanidze, is involved in this plan to destabilize Georgia and conduct regime change, and also Georgian Legion, leadership of that terrorist basically organization that is fighting alongside Ukrainian Nazis under the umbrella of Ukraine's military intelligence, which is on its own is under full control of US secret services. And Budanov is, of course, asset of CIA, no questions about that. So Georgian government has very difficult task in its hands to neutralize these criminals and terrorists. By the way, it's not gonna be easy. And the Georgian government, in my understanding, should be very careful also in direction of Samtskhe Javakheti, should, you know, because yet again, Washington can easily use Pashinyan and his government and some extremists in Armenia to destabilize Georgia, not just with the hands of this Georgian Legion and Ukraine's military intelligence, but also with NGOs inside Georgia that are controlled by US, also with the so-called politicians that are controlled by US, and also in Samtskhe Javakheti by some extremists. So it's very, as I said, man, Georgian government, current government, has very difficult task on its hands to secure Georgian society and Georgia. Question. Valentina Garcia Fernandez is asking, Azerbaijan is not anti-Russian state forced to deal with the Kremlin for geoenergetic reasons. Azerbaijan, I would not say Azerbaijan is hostile to Russia, because leadership of Azerbaijan, current leader of Azerbaijan, and previous leader, father of current leader, they are they are very intelligent people, and they do understand that if they force Russia to act, Russia will act, and well, when Russia is acting, you know, we all know what is happening then. We have a prime example in Ukraine. So I don't think Azerbaijan is hostile state to Russia. I don't think Aliyev, current president of Azerbaijan, has any hostile plans towards Russia. Azerbaijan is neutral, and well, Azerbaijan may act on behalf of Turkey, let's say, because of the strategic relationships. But if it comes to situation when Baku has to choose Ankara or Moscow, good relationships with Turkey or Russia, I think practical moments will prevail, and Baku will stay friendly towards Russia. It's in best interests of Azerbaijan, so why should they act any differently? Although between the sides may be some differences, of course, because we are talking about two different states after all. But I don't see Azerbaijan as a hostile state towards Russia. No. And by the way, at this point, I don't want to see even Turkey as a hostile state towards Russia, although one may have an opinion that Turkey is acting on behalf of United Kingdom when it comes to Southern Caucasus region, for example, or when it comes to Central Asia. But I would not say that Turkey is very keen to destroy relationships with Russia, because it did it before. Turkey did act on behalf of United Kingdom against Russia, and nothing good come out from there for Turkey. Basically, this whole story ended by destruction of Ottoman Empire. And I think Erdogan and his government and current elites of Turkey know history, and know that confrontation with Russia did never end well for Turkey, and why should they choose such a direction? But yet again, some may have opinion that or reading of picture in the way that Turkey is acting against Russia on behalf of United Kingdom, especially in Central Asia and South Caucasus, and there is some good arguments for that also, for that point of view. But when it comes to, for example, Southern Caucasus, by the way, maybe not, maybe all of you are familiar with this information, maybe not, but when Russian Empire collapsed in the beginning of 20th century, European states did become very active in Southern Caucasus region, in Azerbaijan, first of all, also in Georgia, and we are talking about United Kingdom. United Kingdom was in quite powerful positions when it comes to Southern Caucasus in the 20s of 20th century, and also Germany. They even had military contingents, by the way, in Southern Caucasus, and they were forced to flee when Soviet Russia entered both these republics, Azerbaijan, then Armenia, and then Georgia, and when these republics become Soviet republics. So, you know, there's some history of let's say British or European dominance in the Southern Caucasus for several years before, in between collapse of Russian Empire and the establishment of Soviet Union, and after Soviet Union collapsed, US became a major force. US became a major force in southern Caucasus region, and because of it, Georgia was destroyed. And now Armenia is very same direction. But let's see. I mean, let's see what will happen. Some. Let me check. Oh, I see question, by the way. No question. Jenny, thank you very much for donation. It works, you know, donation alerts works. I mean, I don't know. So, how long is this video? It's 75 minutes. 133 of us right now. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining on the stream. And well, I guess it's time to end this stream, isn't it? You tell me, by the way, I'm reading chat right now. End this stream or continue a little bit, what you will say. UK and Russia about Caucasus, the great game. Yes, UK and Russia definitely play long game, by the way. Game in, you know, when it comes to Caucasus and basically Black Sea area and Caspian Sea area, by the way, definitely. Okay, so by the way, I will end. Some say continue, some say end. I don't know, by the way. If there is any questions, let's continue. I have no problem to, you know, let's prolong this stream for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. It's up to you, by the way. It's our stream. We are communicating in real life, so many kind words in the comments, so I thank you all for kind words and attention. And I did see people are communicating with each other, which is also great. We have great community, by the way. Probably all of you did notice that our community is truly very friendly, very nice. Sometime you may go to some YouTube channel, and when you comment something, you may receive some quite toxic response. But here we're doing okay, I guess. Question: do you consider yourself religious? No, I'm a Orthodox Christian. My families are Orthodox Christian, although part of my family is Catholics, by the way. But when it comes to how do I consider myself as religious or no, I'm very respectful, of course. I keep all traditions. I do celebrate religious celebrations as members of my family do. But me personally, I would not consider myself a very religious person. Levan, which one is better for you? PayPal, buy me coffee. PayPal, I guess, because it's faster but it's up to you. Ramplans 01 is asking, it's up to you which is more convenient. really, because at some point there were some issues with Buy Me Coffee in July, if you remember. I even said that I had some issues with Buy Me Coffee, but then I had communication with Buy Me Coffee and situation was resolved, and since then it's absolutely okay, no issues whatsoever with Buy Me Coffee. But PayPal is also convenient, so it's up to you, really. So hopefully this stream was informative enough. And by the way, during the next updates in comment sections, I mean, you can recommend topics if you want, which topics you want to discuss during the next live streams, and let's do it. And right now I will end this stream, if I may, because I have to now, once I will end this stream, I have to train in another program which is necessary to conduct interviews online. So hopefully I will learn how to operate with those programs also, and if that's the case, then maybe in next week is too optimistic, but maybe week after I will manage to begin inviting guests to the project. Hopefully it will work out. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for your attention, for your time, for your support. Take care and see you soon. Thank you.